Hello everyone, my name is Seth, and today I'm going to give you my review of Weapons. So yes, it is still me. I know my beard's gone, but that is a part of the project that I still can't tell you anything about, but I've been working on the last little bit. I'm excited to tell you more about that project whenever I can, but trust me, whenever I can, I'm growing my beard back out as soon as possible. But I do have a camera. I'm here. You can see me, and I want to talk about Weapons. Weapons is the newest horror film from Zach Krieger. The trailers for Weapons were absolutely incredible. Anytime they would play before a movie I was seeing, I could not look away even for a second. I had to see every single bit of that trailer. He also directed Barbarian, which I absolutely loved, and he was a producer on Companion, which I just reviewed a little bit ago, and I really liked that as well. And so I'm happy to say that Weapons is one of the best films of the year. But before we go any farther, go ahead and like this video, hit subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss a video. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I hope you enjoy the review. Barbarian was so good. It made me incredibly interested in everything else that Zach Krieger had to do. Him producing Companion, that made sense to me. And now Weapons has made me think that everything that Zach Krieger does, at least to me right now, is a must-see. I absolutely loved Weapons. Like I said, it was one of the best movies of the year. I can understand how his movies might not necessarily be for everyone, but they certainly are for a lot of people, and I think he just gets horror. And honestly, he brings a really fresh take to horror as well. He isn't afraid to get a little weird with it. He isn't afraid to throw in a bit of humor here and there. And honestly, everything that he has done so far in Weapons, in Barbarian, has worked incredibly well for me. So for me, I think Weapons is what happens when a great story meets great horror. If you take out all of the horror elements of this film, we still get a really intriguing and engaging drama with fully developed and interesting characters. But of course, we do get the horror in this film, and it is incredibly creepy. It gave me chills so many times throughout this film. There were so many times during this movie where I was just watching and my jaw was dropped and I was like not even reaching for my popcorn at all. But like I said, the characters are all so well defined and so well written. They're developed really well, and even the characters, as you might would say, aren't really the stars of this film, still feel like they could be the main character in a story. And I think that has to be the case because of the way that this film is structured. And it does have a unique structure. There are like probably about 6 characters that we really focus on, and each character kind of like they have their own section of the film. They have their own title card when we focus on them. We really get to see how all these characters kind of weave in and out of each other's stories. We see how they're all connected in one way or another, how they end up just crossing paths, and it just works very well. Each time we start a new chapter, we kind of take a step back and maybe see something that we've already seen, but from a different point of view, and we get a little bit more context to whatever events we're seeing. And I think this is just such a fun and unique way to tell a story, especially a horror story like this. There's a lot going on. The characters are dealing with a lot, and so I think this is a really fun way to help us get to know the situation and our characters even better. But for this kind of structure to work, for us to care about the characters have to be done right, and they absolutely are. You get connected to these characters pretty quickly, and I feel like the part of that is because you actually get to know them. They feel like real people. They're fully developed, and they have backstories that feel like they go beyond the scope of the film. And as the story ends, as it concludes, as things happen throughout the course of the story, you really feel for these characters. The first bit of this film really feels like a mystery thriller where these kids just kind of disappear. They all walk off into the night. 17 of the 18 in this one particular classroom just all leave their house at the same time. So you get to thinking, why is it just this one kid? What happened between all of these other kids? Like, why are they all leaving the house? Why are they leaving the house at the same time? does anybody know more about this? Does that one kid that's left, what does he know? I'm not going to give away anything really in this review. I want you to be able to go and experience this film just completely fresh and get the full experience. And one good thing is you can check out these trailers. I don't really think the trailers tell you that much of really what happens in the film, so you're good. But the movie does such a great job of raising questions at the right time, and then they pay off those questions. They give you the answers, but then as they give you those answers, it also raises some more questions, and then we get to see different things from different characters' point of views. That's how some of the questions are answered. But one thing I love about this is that they know what questions that are necessary to be answered in this film and what questions can just be a lingering question. There are quite a few questions in this film that are raised that they don't give you the answer to. And I'm fine with that because they aren't necessarily essential to the story. It's just something that's kind of fun for you to talk about and theorize on. Every single question that is a necessity for them to answer, they do. The scares in this film are incredibly effective. Like I mentioned before, this film is very, very creepy. There's just a lot of things in this that's just very unsettling. They don't rely on jump scares here. They rely on atmosphere and just like creepy performances. It's just all around super creepy. I got chills a lot during the course of this film. Zach Krieger uses a lot of really long takes and some zooms and tracking shots. All of that really helps set the mood and a lot of times helps you feel very uneasy about what's going on. He also expertly uses shadows. I absolutely love when horror films use shadows effectively. It's almost like it transports you back to when you're a kid, you're wandering around your house at night and your brain starts playing tricks on you. It's like, oh, is there something over there deep in the shadows? But they play around with that here a few times where it's like, am I seeing something? Is my mind just thinking I'm seeing something, or is there actually something there in the darkness? So I think Zach Krieger really knows how to make a unsettling and creepy film. So if you're looking for that, this film has got you covered. Also, I would say there's a pretty cool Shining reference that I really enjoyed. And the film does get a little weird at times, but I'd still enjoy it. I think it all works in the world that they built here. And if you're somebody who is looking for a lot of blood and gore in your horror films, I wouldn't necessarily say that this film has it, but if you're somebody who isn't really that comfortable with that, there are a few moments here and there that it has something that they use kind of for shock. So if you do get a little bit squeamish, there's only like a couple of moments here and there. It's not like all throughout the film. And honestly, this film was quite a bit funnier than I thought it would be. There were some really honestly funny moments throughout the course of this film. I think the pacing of this film, for the most part, was good. I say for the most part because I feel like it kind of loses its momentum just a little bit there toward the middle. We start to focus on one of the characters. While I think the character is still well done, well written, I like what we're seeing, I feel like it kind of slows down the momentum of the overall story. Even though that piece is still important, the overall story slows down a bit. And if you're wondering, it does not have quite as extreme of a shift at the midway point that Barbarian does, but I think probably about halfway through, we really start to get more answers, and that's where some of the weird does start to come out a little bit more. So I think the film's pacing overall does well enough. I don't think it necessarily requires a rewrite or anything. It just, in the middle, kind of somewhere in the second act, loses momentum just a little bit. And I have to mention that all of the performances in this film are fantastic, which is very impressive because I remember seeing that Zach Krieger has said that he kind of had to recast just about the whole film pretty quickly. It was kind of weird when I was going to the theater to see this. I'm thinking, this is the third movie in a row that I'm reviewing that stars Julia Gardner, but I don't mind that at all because she is an incredibly talented actress. And each of those three roles that I've seen in Fantastic Four, Wolfman, and now in Weapons are all very different. She has a lot to do in this film. She has a wide range of emotions that she has to cover, and she absolutely nails every single aspect of it. And Josh Brolin is another standout to me. He plays a concerned and angry parent, and he does that so well. But the thing about his performance that really stands out to me is when he's portraying grief. He just does such a great job with that. It kind of like really resonated with me, and it just like his performance broke through the screen and just connected with me very well. I also want to give credit to Alden Ehrenreich, Benedict Wong, and Austin Abrams. They all did a great job. Like I said, a lot of these characters could have been like the main character in their own story, and their performances are part of the reason why. I also do want to give credit to Kerry Christopher. He plays Alex, the one kid that is left behind, and he does a really great job. So between this and Sinners and Companion, this is shaping up to be an incredible year for horror. Honestly, just kind of a really good year for film as a whole. But there's also some other horror films that have come out, like Together. I haven't gotten to see that. I want to see that. I've heard a lot of good things. Then there's a couple more horror films coming out the rest of the year I'm excited for. So this could be a huge year for horror. But like I said earlier, Weapons is what happens when a great story meets great horror. You get an absolutely fantastic film with great performances, great characters that are incredibly well developed, and some really great scares and some very creepy circumstances. This film was so good that even though during my showing there was like an emergency light up on the ceiling of the theater that was kind of flashing throughout the whole film, I was still locked in. That didn't bother me. Obviously, I wish it wasn't there, but like that didn't bother me like I thought it would, because I was so locked into this film. They did give me a free pass to see another movie because of that, so shout out to Regal, but also Regal, hey, fix your ads and trailers because 29 minutes is way too much. Anyway, I absolutely loved Weapons. It is such a good movie. It is one of the best films of the year. And now, any Zach Krieger film is an absolute must watch for me. I'm going to give Weapons a 4.5 out of 5. But that's it. That's my review of Weapons. Have you seen this film? Let me know what you thought in the comment section down below. I would absolutely love to have a conversation with you about it. But if you're going to comment and want to talk kind of in depth, make sure to kind of add like a little spoiler tag at the front of that comment, because I want anybody who's watching this to get to go in and see this kind of fresh for the first time. But thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to like this video, hit subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss a video. You can follow me on social media pretty much anywhere at CinemaSeth, and I'll see you next time.